What's up, ET? How y'all doing? Good to see y'all here today. Really appreciate y'all being a part of the stream today. Make sure you like the video if you're in the live chat, or if you're in the thing. We'll let some people get in here. Thank y'all very much for being here. Hope it's as good a weather in your spot, your area of the country, or your area of the world as it is for me here. ET, good to see you, buddy. Things okay over there at Eastern Carolina, I guess. Hopefully everything's good for you over there. Here in southern Middle Tennessee, everything is going well. Angelo, I believe you're in Eastern North Carolina as well. Welcome. ET, I did not see that live. I think, well, now I take that back. I saw it, but I wasn't able to watch it. So very, very, very much looking forward to watching your first live. So I used to put so much thought into the live streams and thought I had to have this elaborate setup like Everyday City Carry has, or have this crazy stats on there and have people's comments popping up and all this other stuff. And yeah, Angelo, sorry about that. You're Southeast Texas. Sorry about that. I'm getting you confused with somebody else. But yeah, weather is great here. It's a 53 degrees in January. It's not going to be 53 for very long. It's going to be very cold here pretty soon. And so very much looking forward to getting past that cold weather. I used to think I liked cold weather until I didn't. And turns out I like warm weather a whole lot more than I like cold weather. So yeah, sharp knives are good knives. That's correct, Angelo. Thank y'all very much for being here. 7 people watching right now. If you're watching, make sure you like the video to bring other people into the video. The question today is, what are you carrying? What are you carrying? I'll give you a little preview. I'm carrying this to test out today. I put down my Yonder, my Civivi Yonder, just for a day to test out the O-Knife U1 Pro. You've probably heard of these before. But the O-Knife U1 Pro, this is a utility knife. Now, utility knives are getting pretty good thing. This one actually has a crossbar lock instead of a button lock. Now, I picked the donut theme because it's just kind of neat. But what I didn't know about this one is it's really neat. You got a little interchangeable bit that locks, by the way, right there at the back. That's pretty cool. And these are not too bad. This is from O-Knife, and this is the U1 Pro. And you can change out, this has got a button release right there. So you can just tuck that joker right back in. Yeah, gonna be a high of 27 on Tuesday. Yeah, it's supposed to get pretty cold here on Sunday, probably for you guys, probably Sunday, Monday, Tuesday sometime. But yeah, our weather is gonna get bad as well. I don't think we're supposed to have any snow here necessarily, but south of us in Alabama and Georgia, South Carolina is supposed to get a bunch of snow. It's gonna get nasty. Those people, like, we don't know how to deal with snow around here in Middle Tennessee. They surely don't know how to deal with snow in what I call LA, Lower Alabama. They do not know how to deal with it down there. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. We live stream every Friday at 2 p.m. Unless otherwise noted. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, we're going to be right here on Tuesdays. And we're going to be talking about some EDC items. I just thought I'd share that little O-Knife with you. I got 2 other colors of this, the carbon fiber, which is really rad. And then what is it? The green micarta as well. I didn't bring those with me. This is just what I had in my pocket today. I've actually cut several things open with it as well. All right, let's see what you got to get. See what y'all have got to get. I lost my work knife, folding box knife. It's 20 years old. I found it in the parking lot, crushed by work trucks driving over it. Oh man. If I had a dime for every knife I've lost, probably pay off my mortgage, honestly. Sliced a paper towel. I'm going to strop it and make a video on it and try to do a paper towel again. Cool. Which one are you talking about, ET? That's the cool thing with razor blade knives is you can replace them. This one actually has a screw to hold it in place. What I do like about this one is that you don't have to have a star bit or a bit driver to get this open. You should be, I haven't been able to do it yet, but you should be able to unscrew this with well, obviously very carefully because the razor blade is exposed. I'm not going to try to do it on camera, but you should be able to replace this fairly, well, I say fairly easily. But it's in there, it's secured in there, so I don't want to mess with that right now. But we'll talk about those next week. Sliced paper towel. Let's see, CGRB Pyrite Light. Do you like the Pyrite Light? I've got a Pyrite and I've got a Pyrite Mini. The AR RPM 9 is like a metal that is like proprietary to them, if I'm not too much mistaken on that. But yeah, just did. Oh, I just want to read some of the Ziggly 21. Hello from Georgia. Just started carrying a Victorinox Cadet Gear Infusion utility knife. Gear Infusion. I'll have to look that up. O-Pen Mini 2. O-Pen Mini. O-Pens are so nice and they're so cheap. They're so wonderful. And of course the Art Company Boulder. Man, the Art Company Boulder is fantastic. It is, Art Company in general is fantastic. Love, love, love their stuff. Let's take a look at some knives. I've got about, let's see, it's 14:05, it's 2:05. So I've got about 30 to 35 minutes. I do want to get to our Bible study today. Even now more with fresh 15-degree edge. Did you get a sharpener for Christmas or something, ET? Or are you just doing that on like a stone or something? I'm thinking that I want to do, hey, Steven, good to see you, man. I'm thinking that I want to get, I've actually never owned a sharpening stone. I probably don't need to say that being an EDC guy, but I've never actually owned a sharpening stone. So probably want to get one of those. Good thing is though, is that at Blade Show, there's 1,000 vendors selling sharpening stones. So if you ever want to get a whetstone or a sharpening stone or a strop or anything like that, there's a bazillion of them at Blade shows. Yes, we're going to be starting the Bible study. We're only going to talk about these fixed blades for just another, probably about 10 minutes. Tell me this and answer me this before we get to talking about these fixed blades. Would you be open to having this just be a Bible study on Fridays? We don't have to completely not talk about knives and EDC stuff. I'm not going to never not talk about it again, but mostly concentrate on Bible study. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. And if you just want to have a Bible study, I usually write these as 45-minute classes. So to kind of condense it into a 30-minute time frame is really not a big deal for me. So I'm really looking forward to 2 Samuel chapter 2 today. So I want to talk to you about a couple of the fixed blades. Now I have featured, we're not going to talk very much about, let me see here. I got a big bag of these. One of these fixed blades, man, really, really impressed me. And I think I don't have it with me. We talked about the baby banter. You know, using the baby banter in real world stuff to try to get camping stuff done, not really impressed. Not saying it's incapable of doing those things, but not really impressed. Now I love a tiny little blade, but I think, and I'm gonna say this in my video that's gonna come out on Sunday afternoon, I think this is the perfect like boot knife, backup knife. It's perfect for that. For doing like camping type stuff that I'm gonna show in the video, I don't know. One that I wanted to talk about that several people asked me to check out, and let's check up on the comments here. Used your dad's work sharp. Okay. Looking forward to the Bible study. Me too. Missed the live Bible study last week. Love watching it later. Look forward to it today. Okay. I'm looking forward to it as well. We're going to get to it here in just a few minutes. The guided field sharpener. You know, the guided field sharpener looks like a NASA project. It looks like it's got these things that you got to, and I know it's pretty simple to put together and use, but I think I'm going to stick with my belt sharpener for the work sharp. The electric belt sharpener like Angelo is talking about. And it is right. I have actually talked to 2 people that I know personally who have bought that based upon them seeing it in my live stream video here, and they love it. They absolutely love it. So yeah, it is a little bit much, but if you don't get the belt grinding attachment, it's actually a lot less. It's actually like half the price. So not too bad at all. Steven says, all of the above. I'm very open to EDC and or Bible study. I think we'll keep a hybrid approach. We may phase out the EDC talk altogether. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out. Kathleen, hello. Good afternoon. Not a fixed blade guy, but you want a baby banner fixed basically because he's a huge NAFS fan. Yes. Oh, you're going there on Monday. Steven, I'm very, very, very jealous. Make sure you take notes and pictures and make sure you share them on the live stream with us. I'm looking forward to going out to Blade Show West and visiting with them sometime as well. Let me show you the funkiest blade and the most expensive that I shared on my blade video. Now, you've seen this one before. This is the Armis knife and tool. You see that AKT Co right there on the blade. This is an Armis knife and tool. This is the Mini VSK. Now, this was a good, I tested this. It's a little rough. I've got some, I chopped some wood with it, believe it or not. It's going to be in the video on Sunday, so make sure you're subscribed. And 18 of you watching, but make sure you like the video so that you can get people to this video, please. Really appreciate it. But it's got this really nice Offensive Industries sheath. It's not an Offensive Industry sheath. It takes inspiration from that. Cool Tiger kind of M16 looking pattern on the back, kind of Vietnam era pattern. But yeah, it is, this is a really cool little knife. Now I tell you, for camping applications, getting that grip on there, I don't know. It's a little bit tough. It's a little bit tough to use with bare hands. But look how thick that boy is. Look how thick that is. That is a 3/8 of an inch thick blade. This blade is not going to go anywhere. In fact, I would venture to say that if I did a bend test on this, it's not going to go anywhere. Now, what I did do is a blade tip retention test on this, where I just took some wood and I stabbed into some wood and bent it back. I did that about 10 to 12 times. It did get a teeny tiny little bend in the very, I don't even know if you can see that. Got a teeny tiny little bend, but you can see all these results on my YouTube channel, and I'm really looking forward to sharing those. Let's see here. The other one that I actually really like this one, but it's a little bit different, is the Schrade Mini Wolverine. Now, this is a $20 knife. You've got about a 2.1 or 2, I think it's a 2.13. Just a little over, no. That's like a 2.3. That's like a 2.3 inch blade right there. Very cool. It's awesome, but it's a little rough on your hands because this jimping is pretty rough right here, and the G10 scales on this are pretty rough. They could have smoothed them around a lot like they did on the Kaiser that we're going to talk about, but this one actually performed really well as well. Really liked the ergonomics of it. I just wish the scales were a little bit more easy on your hands. Easy on your hands. Now this is 65 MN steel. So if you know anything about MN steel, let me know. I think it's like a high carbon steel. So, you know, carbon steel's on a lot of stuff, and it's on a lot of great knives. It's on a lot of really expensive knives too. But yeah, I really like that Schrade. And again, that Schrade, the sheath is plastic. It's not really good. And William, I see your comment on there. So what I'm actually doing, that is a great idea, and I thought about doing that. However, in the current series that I'm in, I'm about 2 weeks behind with the live stream. So the lesson that I'm doing today was the lesson that I did 2 Sundays ago in class, so I can maintain, kind of be ahead. And I'm actually doing it for the second time on the live stream. But you're right, William, that's actually a really good idea. So the sheath right here, it's decent, it's okay, and it clicks in very nicely, but it takes a little bit more force than I'd like to get it out of there. And it is plastic, but it's not, by any means, it's not bad. It'll latch, it's plastic, but it's not bad at all. So for 20 bucks though, for $20, That's amazing. It's really great. I'll put the Amazon link below, and again, all those links help the channel. One of the ones that I was really impressed with is this frag pattern handle. It is this is the Vosteed Mink. Now the Vosteed Mink is excellent. Let's see, Angelo, the letter N in steel previously stood for new billet steel. Interesting. So that means like they took a new portion of the steel to make. I don't know. What does that mean, Angelo? I'd love to know. I love finding out about steels. I don't think it's very important to the average person that is watching a video like this. I don't think it's incredibly important to an average person what kind of steel is on a blade, but I just find it fascinating. I find it fascinating to learn stuff like that. But this is the Vosteed Mink. This is Nitro V steel. This performed very well. Check out that jimping on the top of it. It's got that clip point blade. Clip point or drop point may be my favorite blade shape. So clip point is awesome. But this one is it's thick. It's okay. It's not nearly as thick as this VSK though. Let me show you the comparison here. It's not nearly as thick. In fact, that VSK looks like it's like 30% thicker at least. So not going to be nearly as durable in a durability test. However, this one is very slicey, cuts very well. The sheath is amazing, and it's nice and thin. It's got those frag pattern micarta scales on it. It looks really good. The best part about this is it is very inexpensive at about, I think this one's $60 or $70. Very inexpensive. Really good. However, and if I was picking a winner, I'm not picking a winner. This is like picking your favorite child, right? I'm not picking a winner, but I'm just saying that if I was picking a winner, it would be the Kaiser. Let me catch up on some comments before we go to the Kaiser here. So, letter N in previous use stood for that. With the links go up to the live closes. I don't see no links right now. Yes, the links will go up after the live stream closes. I got to get my son home from school, but then I'll put those up as soon as I possibly can. And again, I should think about those before, Kathleen, but thank you for keeping me on my toes, and I should always have those up, but I don't have those up. So thank you very much for the reminder though. Stephen, I just don't understand well the differences between steels and how they're made. So I'd love content on that. I believe it was Neves Knives who did a really good like steels compared tier list. And I think it's probably the best reference that I've ever had. In fact, I saved the image. He had the final image on there. I saved the image to my notes app so I could reference it later to see all the different kinds. There are way more kinds of steels than you would ever think. Now, there are some that are used very frequently. Like today, RPM 9 was mentioned, Nitro V. But yeah, you bring up a really good important point, Stephen, is I didn't even think about blade steels until I got into doing this channel. Let's read what Angelo has to say. The N stands for New Billet Steel until 1984. ASTM A5 standard specification deformed and plain billet steel bars, concrete reinforcement, 2 types of blade steel, N and S type. S type is more stringent supplementary requirements, which were optional. Okay, cool. That's really neat to know. Yeah, it's a very good, the Neves Knives videos are very good. I'm pretty sure it was Neves Knives. If it wasn't, it was like Stassa 23 or it wasn't Bees Blades. I don't think he did that, but very, very good reference. And that's a very good video to watch. But this one is my winner. We'll talk about this one before we get to our Bible study. I love this one. This is the Kaiser. Look at this bad boy right here. Look at how beautiful that is. $60 on this, and this is beautiful. Look at how chunky the blade is. I did not think that I would like this blade very much, but it has got an awesome clip point blade. I love the geometry on the spine here. What more so on the spine, I don't know if that comes through in the video very much, but if you see that, it's got this ever so slightly like burnished top to it. That is incredibly comfortable. This one won by a long shot. It's polished up here on the top. This one kind of won by a long shot when I was comparing it to these others, but look at that. These are micarta scales right here, sandwiched in between some G10. I mean, just It looks good. It feels good. Now this one's a little bit bigger. It's a lot bigger. Let me do a little comparison here. It's a lot bigger. The blade style, the blade size, this one may not be very EDC-able. It may just be one of those kind of backpack knives that you have to get or whatever, but I'm telling you right now, I love that. This is the Kaiser Hare, by the way, H-A-R-E, like a rabbit. And it is absolutely stunning. I was very surprised how much I liked it in actual use. And so you'll see that actual use on the video that I'm going to put on Sunday. I think it's going to come out at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Stephen, have you seen the NAF's Lulu fixed blade or the Lander 4 fixed? I have seen both of those, have not been able to try any of those. That's the great thing about being able to go to some of these things. Like I'm really planning on going to the spring gathering for Georgia Bushcraft. I'm thinking I'm definitely going to go to Blade Show Atlanta, and I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be at Blade Show West. And so the great thing about going to those places is being able to actually hold these things in your hands. But no, I have reached out to NAFs, and I have reached out to Civivi about getting me those, and they still haven't gotten back to me. I think NAFs is a little too popular for me. I don't think I rate them to send me some NAFs. I may end up just buying the Lander fixed blade, especially because I love the Lander folder. So yeah, that's a very, very good question, Stephen. Angela, all I know about steel is when I was a kid, I could sharpen a knife a couple of minutes and done. Now all it takes is it takes all day to get them sharp. Some of these it does. Some of these sharpen much quicker than others. And yeah, I completely understand what you're talking about there. Give me a second to pull up my Bible lesson. We're going to start the portion of the live stream now where we're going to actually do a Bible study. You saw that in the thumbnail probably when you clicked on it. We're actually going to have a Bible study right now. Thank you for all your comments. We got 20 something odd people watching right now. Really appreciate it very much. I'm going to get some air in here real quick. Oh, sorry about that loud sound there. So when we're looking at some of this kind of stuff, we're talking about 2 Samuel. Hold on, I got to pull this thing up. Here we go. Sorry about that. We're looking at 2 Samuel, and last week we looked at 2 Samuel chapter 1. We're going to look at 2 Samuel chapter 2. If you do not want to stick around for the Bible study for this part, no problem. If you have questions about any of the stuff that we study, if you have questions mostly about Jesus, Jesus is the center of Scripture. He is the center of the Bible. And so if you have questions about that, please let me know. So if you have questions that you want to put in the live chat, please let me know. I do not have all the answers. I just know the one who does have all the answers, and that's Jesus. And we can figure it out and look that up if you have genuine religious questions about those different types of things. Crawdaddy says, what is your favorite book of the Bible? It's probably really close between Hebrews, James, and the Gospel of John. I'd say that those are my 3 favorites. Obviously, the Gospel of John covers the life of Jesus. John chapter 15 may be my favorite chapter in Scripture. We will be studying that sometime this year if we ever get through our 2 Samuel study, but we will sometime study that this year. But yes, I absolutely love the book of John. Love Hebrews because of specifically about the chapter of faith, Hebrews chapter 11. But then James is just so practical. James is one of those practical books. Like if you know Jesus and what he did for us, the first place I want to take people is to James. Romans is amazing. Romans is incredible, has some incredibly complex thoughts. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. James is, and very, very practical. Let's see here, not to be in a debate, but what version do you use? Now, I use a variety of versions. And if I use a paraphrased version of the Bible, I will say a paraphrased version of the Bible like the Message or something like that. Those have benefit. I think that every Bible translation, almost every Bible translation, not all of them, almost every Bible translation has a really good something to bring to the scripture, because they've been thought out. For me, I usually go back and forth between the New American Standard Version and the English Standard Version. The English Standard Version is a recent version. It came out in 2001. It's a relatively recent version, but it took them 26 years to make it. And so I really like that. I don't have anything against the King James. I don't have anything against the New King James. I just don't like the wording. I don't think that it's really good. Mr. Coolio, I am not a pastor. We don't use that terminology, but I am a minister. I do work at a church. And so my full-time job is an education minister. And so I minister to all sorts of people in our church. I have a mid-sized church here in Middle Tennessee. So yes, I am. James is a brilliant book. He is straight to the point and blunt. He really is. And he has great examples. James chapter 3 is one of my favorite chapters in all of Scripture. Absolutely love it. Stephen says, I use the KJV my whole life and would like to learn more about other versions and translations. You know what? We might, when we get through 2 Samuel for a few weeks, we might pause and do some of this stuff. If you've got if you guys have got some of those suggestions and you want to know more, put that down below. I'm just making mental notes here with the live stream, with the live chat, and I would love to know about that stuff. Crawdaddy asks, do you teach a Sunday school class, and if so, what age? I teach a lot. I am hardly ever not teaching. The times where I'm not teaching is usually from about April to June. And so that's my only real break during the year. But for the other 9 months of the year, I'm usually teaching 3 Bible classes a week. Here's the 3 ages for the Bible classes that I teach. The average age of my Sunday school class is going to be around probably 65. So I teach older people. The average age in my Sunday night Bible class is 4th grade. So anywhere between 10, 11, and 12 years old. The average age in my Wednesday night class is about 55. And so that's an adult class as well. So usually I teach 2 adult classes a week, and then I teach 1 kids class a week. And so absolutely there. Oh yeah, AK Bravo, if you hadn't figured it out yet, yeah, I do believe in God. Absolutely. He is the center of everything that has ever happened in human history. And through him and in him is everything. He is the creator of the universe. He is the creator and manager. And he is I'm telling you right now, AK Bravo, why do I believe in God? Because I believe there is irrefutable evidence that someone designed everything around us. I look at this knife right here, the Vostede mink. Somebody designed this knife. Somebody in probably China, probably Wei. I don't know if you know Wei, but he works for Vostede. I got to meet him at Blade Show. Sam EDC, Sam Calicut. He's also a pastor in North Carolina. He works. He's met Wei, and this knife was designed. There is irrefutable evidence to me that this world has a designer, that our bodies have a designer. Our eyeballs are the most complex machines on this planet. And who designed our eyeballs? Somebody did. It wasn't evolution, I'll tell you that much. So at the same time, to me, when I look at I can sit here and I'm looking at trees and I'm looking at cars sitting in a parking lot. I'm at my son's middle school about to pick him up in 15 minutes or so. I'm looking at this building that has been here and I see this thing since 1967. Somebody designed these buildings. Somebody designed these cars. Somebody designed the trees. We don't think about that very much, but someone designed those things. Look at the complexity of our bodies, our eyeballs, our brains, the neurons, the designs of the bodies. Look at the design of our heart and the chambers and the ways that it pumps and the ways that it treats sicknesses by attacking them. I mean, just look at, people like to think that science and the Bible have this grand gulf between them. The Republicans and the Democrats in our country, our politicians would have us believe that science and the Bible are at odds with one another. That is not the case at all. There is so much science in everything that we look at and around us. But here we go. Let's catch up on some comments. You guys have had some pretty good ones. Irrefutable evidence, perfect answer. Well, I don't know about a perfect answer, but it's a pretty decent, good answer. Hey, Chad, been on a while. Jordan, good to see you, buddy. Thank you very much. I'm sorry you hadn't been feeling well. I hope we can pray for you at the end of our study today. But still, why can't we prove it scientifically? I'm an agnostic. I always wanted a perspective from a religious person. Give me some more context on that, AK Bravo. Why can't we prove it scientifically? We can. We can and we have. It's just that there's so much noise out there that message has been lost. We don't have an explanation for a lot of the way. We still don't understand how our human brain actually works. But we look at our bodies and we see design. And that implies a designer. Everything in this world that has been designed, from your iPhones to your cars to your houses, everything. Just look at the complexity of our bodies and you'll see. William, I've already mentioned the heart actually. I didn't even see your comment yet, but William, look at the complexity of our human heart. Look at the human eyeball. Look at the way that our bodies respond to those things. Jaco says, not to be disrespectful, but for a second I thought we were on the path of thought that God designed the Vosteed mink. Yeah, he didn't design the Vosteed mink, but he designed the people who designed the Vosteed mink, if that makes any sense. Jojo says, morning watching while at work. Morning, Jojo. Thank you so much for joining us. OKT. Kai Cora. The more you try to disprove the Bible, the more it's proved is true. And again, that's not I don't ever want to be hostile about the Bible. I don't want to ever be hostile about being a creationist and believing in God. But you cannot ignore the overwhelming, irrefutable evidence. You just cannot ignore it. Now, I can go through all of that kind of stuff. C.S. Lewis, I believe it was C.S. Lewis once that said, if I believe in God and I die and I meet him, then I've done something right. This is a terrible paraphrase of what he said. He says, if I choose not to believe in God, though, and I'm wrong about that, then that means that I'm butchering the comment, but basically he said, if I believe in God, then I'm not losing anything if I'm wrong. If I don't believe in God, then I'm losing everything if I am wrong. Does that make sense? It's very, very interesting. The more we try to disprove the Bible, the more it gets true. Crawdaddy, do y'all have a men's ministry program at your church? Yes, we do. If so, have you ever thought about doing anything like each guy building their own AR and forging their own knife? Not on a group basis, but I have done that with many of our church members. In fact, I have a pal who likes to do reloading. He does a lot of reloading. I've got a pal at church right now. I get to see him every Sunday, and his name is Mr. Goodwin, and he has actually gotten several different things and EDC items from what we have talked about on the channel. It's awesome. It's awesome. And so, yeah, we have a men's ministry that is fledgling, absolutely. Angela says they cannot prove it's not true, and they haven't found that out. That's correct. There is always a lot of semblance to that, because the idea here is that God has never been disproven. Is that what Angelo's trying to say? There has never been able to be a disproving that there has been a designer, a grand designer that designed our world, that designed our bodies, that designed us. AK Bravo says, if God was real, why doesn't he mention dinosaurs in the religious texts and scriptures? Dinosaurs were actually not a coined term. The term dinosaur was actually not a coined term until like the 1850s. That's probably why. He does mention in Ezekiel, I believe it's Ezekiel chapter 1 or chapter 3, there's a grand Leviathan. In fact, there's a whole theory about dinosaurs, that maybe dinosaurs were not as numerous as maybe we think. They certainly existed. I'm not denying the existence of dinosaurs. I'm just denying the time frame that our science books, our popular science books, put out today, with the earth being billions and billions of years old. I don't think the Bible tells us that the earth is billions and billions of years old. I don't think that's the case. I think we have a pretty good idea about that. AK Bravo, you're asking some great questions, and I really appreciate it. I am not offended by genuine questions. I love people searching for the truth. And in our world today, the truth is incredibly difficult to find sometimes. What I'm trying to say to you is not slanted. I'm not trying to say anything that's Southern Republican or West Coast Democrat. I'm not slanting anything. This is from Scripture. This is from the ideas and the studies that I've had over the last 20 some odd years being a minister. And just because I'm a minister in a church does not mean I know everything. I regularly challenge and question my own beliefs because people like you are wonderful in challenging me in doing so. Carlo Games 123 says, hello, brother. My name is Logan. I'm 15 years old. I've always claimed to be a Christian, but only recently have I really started to look deeper and try to follow the teachings. I have many struggles. Carlo, we all have struggles. I had a struggle coming here today. I had an argument with my wife earlier today. It was a tense situation. We've all got struggles, and I'm not trying to minimize your struggles at all, but it is so good that you're searching. It's so good that you're trying to look deeper and trying to follow the teachings. And the teachings you need to follow, you need to read Matthew 5. You need to read Matthew 5, 6, and 7. You can find it anywhere on the internet. You can go to Bible.com. You can go to ESVBible.com. You can go to anywhere on the internet and find it. And you can find those teachings of what Jesus says. This is what Christians do to be saved. This is what we do to be saved, but this is what we do when we are Christians. See, we put so much emphasis on saving people. Oh, let's get saved. Let's be baptized like Jesus says in Mark 16. But then we forget about those people and their journey afterwards. The journey starts when you say, I believe in Jesus Christ, the Son of God, that He died for my sins. That's when the journey starts, not when the journey ends. And so, yes, it takes a child, his life of faith, Crawdaddy, with certain things, and Christ is helping me. Christ helps me every single day. He is the ultimate example. He is the only sinless person that has ever walked on the face of the earth. And more so, this is why one of the things I love about the book of Hebrews is the book of Hebrews goes into and talking about how we have such a better high priest. They had these high priests back in the Old Testament times that were flawed men, individuals. They were sometimes corrupt. They were sometimes not holy. And Jesus is the perfect high priest. He's the one who came and was sinless. He's the only one who has came and was sinless. William, you said you teach a Wednesday night children's class. It's been combined. Teach a lesson to the other teacher. Reaches this lesson. Normally they come together without knowing what the other is teaching. Yeah, sometimes you've got to coordinate a lot in churches for different things like that, William. Angelo says, yes, brother, absolutely. 1841, first known use of dinosaur. There you go. So I was round about mid 1800s. Yeah, that's a modern thing. What you have to understand is what men have invented versus what God invented already. If God had put grand beasts on the earth, then yeah, He probably did. He probably did. We have evidence of that. Okay. But we also have evidence that they did not hang around for nearly as long as they have, and they were not nearly as numerous as we once thought that they were. Kathleen says, all you have to do is look at His world and the others to know that God is real and that He lives. Absolutely, Kathleen, true. Absolutely true. AK, you got another question. I'm catching up on comments here. I'm going to have to go in just a minute, and I'm so sorry. This is why I say we should probably make this live stream all about the Bible, or we should start 30 minutes earlier. Let's see here. We go to, all you have to do is what Kathleen True. So, AK Bravo. So the matter is all about timelines. By the way, I love people, whoever they are, whoever they belong to and believe. That's good. That Christ was the same way. He was as open as you are about loving everyone, no matter their race, no matter their political party, no matter what economic status they had, no matter where they came from in life, no matter if they had been a Christian for 25 years or been a Christian for 25 minutes, doesn't matter. And so, yeah, the matter is, I don't think it's all about timelines, AK. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there that has been misinformation for a very long time, since the 1950s or 60s. There has been a lot of misinformation. If you go back to a science book in the 1940s, 50s, 60s area, there will be one age of the Earth. They'll say it's 1.7 billion years old. Well, then you go to a science book 20 years later and it's 4.6 billion years old. And the scientists just have to keep making more and more time for the things that they know did not happen, like genetic mutations. We don't have genetic mutations. Those don't happen. They happen over millions and billions of years, but they don't happen over tens of thousands of years, okay? So very interesting. Yeah, AK, I want you to get in touch with me, AK. I'd love to talk with you more. My email is on my channel link. In fact, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's not a big deal. chad.landman@gmail.com. I would love for you to email me and we could talk further. Matthew 7:7, absolutely. Let's get through this. I got to go here in just a minute, and I'm so sorry to rush, but my son will be coming out of school here in just a minute. Let's see here. Hey, brother, a South African here. How have you received God's answers when you have asked for it in the past? Not in the ways that I always want, because God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. He knows everything that is going to happen. He knows everything in this world that is going on. He knows much, much more than me. So when I pray to God and ask Him for something, I ask Him to do it if it is His will. Sometimes it's not. Garth Brooks used to sing a song called, "I Thank God for Unanswered Prayers." I love that song, first of all, but I don't think there's such a thing as an unanswered prayer. I think that every prayer is answered. We just may not see the result or the fruit of that prayer for a long time. We may not even realize that the answer was something completely different than we planned on. That's my answer to that. Very, very good question there, Christian. Another South African, discipleship, drinking right now. Funny, isn't it? Hey, skibbity poppin' dollar. Need to stay away from that alcohol, buddy. That's all I gotta say about that. Alcohol's a killer. It's a killer. You guys still on here? You guys still on here? Yeah, YouTube didn't pull it. YouTube didn't pull it. My phone got too hot. I have no idea why. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. Gotta go. Love you all. Appreciate your questions. And I'm actually gonna look at all these when I get home. Thank y'all so much.